found my way into Miatas. I used to ride motorcycles and really loved kind of the open air experience. Nothing beats being out and just sort of out in the elements. And I almost got clipped a couple of times, and I said, there's got to be a better answer. And the answer, Miata is always the answer, you see. And in my experience, putting the top down, just being out in the air like that, I feel more connected to the world than I did on a motorcycle. And I thought that was like the peak. There's something about just cruising down the road and you're getting all the smells and the sunlight on you. I think it's even better in a Miata open air. This was my third Miata. I think I've had 5 at this point. My first one was a 91. That's kind of a local car now. I turbocharged it and blew it up. Didn't want to put it back together, and I actually found this car in New Jersey. Nobody wanted to let me borrow a truck or a trailer. Everyone was like you're on your own kind of thing. I ended up using a guy named Squirrel's truck and trailer to go pick it up. Picked it up, like I said, in New Jersey. Had 24,000 miles on it at the time. Already turbocharged, but a really old sort of setup. So it started out turboed, and I kind of have gone through everything except the turbo at this point. But I've had a lot of Miatas, and there will be more to come. 33,700-ish. I put maybe 3,000 miles on a year. It's a fair weather car. I daily a rusty Cobalt so that I can drive this on nice days. Well, this Miata specifically, this was really built to be a street car. I haven't tracked it, although admittedly, I rented a local go-kart track, and when no one else was around, kind of ripped around really slow. It was way too small of a course to really have any fun with it, but it is still kind of neat. Otherwise, it's just been a street car, kind of just cruise around here and have fun with it. The reason I built this as a street car mostly was because I get all of that racing itch out at a local go-kart track. I raced in what's called an animal class. It was basically a spec class with modified LO206 Briggs engine, putting out a whole 9, maybe 10 horsepower. But when you're racing an inch from other people, there's nothing like it. And I really found that being able to get it out in a healthy way on the track like that kind of saved me from taking corners at extra legal speeds. So basically what's done to it, we'll start with the engine. Obviously it has those turbo pistons, basically stock elsewise. So the turbo itself is a Garett journal bearing T25 frame, really small. It was off a Nissan CA18 turbo, so that's also a 1.8. So it's really a good match for the car. Spool's super quick. It does kind of run out of steam at the high end. 15 is about all I can go on it anymore, and it's just blowing hot air. It is an external wastegate, which is kind of rare on a smaller turbo like that. Not sure why the previous owner did that. Catch can, I have the headlight intake. Suspension-wise, it's the Flyin Miata Vmaxx track pack. I think Porterfield brakes. The exhaust it's a Magnaflow muffler with a resonator and a cat. That's about all that's really done to the car, especially power-wise. One of my favorite mods to this day is my Nardi wheel. Every time I get into the car, my hands are right there, and it totally just transformed it. It's one of my favorite mods, as silly as that might sound. I had this car tuned at Rick's, on Rick's dyno by Rick, same that you guys did, and at 12.5 PSI, it put down 202, 200. Unfortunately, my clutch started slipping, and I put a new clutch in since then, and I'm now running 15 PSI. I estimate it on Rick's dyno to probably be about 220. I'm trying to be conservative, they're just numbers. But like I said, 12.5, it was at 202, so I'm running 15 pretty solidly. So I'd say 220. I'd love to also get it on a dyno jet and see what's coming in the future with this car. Like I said before, I'm sort of at this point with the mods where if I want more power, I'm going to have to do new injectors. I would have to do new turbo, which would mean a new downpipe, you know, a new tune. I would have to go in and do the rods. I would need so much at this point. So mod-wise, I really think that it's about where it's going to be for at least a couple of years, until I can justify spending that much, until I ride in somebody else's car who ruins this power level for me. I think we're going to stay right there, and the car's at the point where it's reliable enough, quick enough for me that I can really just enjoy it. And I'm happy with that. So the car to drive, it is all intake noises. It's all induction. I'm not somebody who likes overly loud exhausts. I think it sounds throaty for a little 1.8, but the torque is right there. With such a small turbo, it really does spool so quickly that on the street, when you put your foot down and that torque hits it, it feels really quick. I've had people describe my car as a 0 to 100 car. Really fast to 100, and then it just sort of falls on its face. And I love that. On the streets, what more do you need? Really.
Stefan and I just got back from driving the car. What were your thoughts on it?
Before we get started, it was the first Turbo Miata I ever drove, and it is probably the reason I have a K-swap right now. So I don't know if I should thank you or what, but halfway through driving it, I was like, man, should I just have turbo to VP? Like, the torque is immediate. There is no spool. There's no lag. It's just you put your foot down and it's 15 PSI. In every gear, it's fun.
I would have to say, definitely the fastest Miata I've been in so far.
For the time being.
For the time being.
Yep.
For the time being. He has power steering.
He has
Your power steering.
I miss power
It's
steering.
great. And your initial bite is awesome too. So, plus the turbo noises aren't just for you or the driver. I was out on the highway and somebody rolled up on me in a what was it? GLI, yeah, with their turbo noises, and I could return the favor with Joe's turbo noises, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it puts a dumb smile on your face. Like, I'd rather have 200 horsepower out of a turbo than 200 horsepower NA. I'm going above without for other reasons, but
it's like a weird thing to say in your situation at the moment.
Well, because we're gonna push mine for more. So
yeah,
but it's a different story. But just being able to just make the flutter noises always as like maybe,
all the noises.
Maybe as childish as it sounds, I love it.
All the noises.
It's the best thing.
Top down, you get the.
Yeah, oh, it's so good.
So thanks again for having us review your car and giving us the keys and whatnot.
My pleasure, really. I appreciate you having me out. It's been great.
That's awesome. And more stuff like this to come. So this is our first review. We've got a bunch of other Miatas locally.
Yeah.
The community here is pretty deep. And then we're also going to want to get outside the Miata community a little bit too, but we're going to start with these cars. Besides the reviews and the track, if you have any other ideas in terms of content that you would like us to do, leave comments below. We read everybody's comment, we respond to everybody and everything like that, and we do take that into consideration when planning for the future. We're finally getting outside driving cars has been great. So what other ideas do you have for us? Leave them down below. And subscribe for more. Awesome.
That might actually have just been
That might have been good enough.
That was good.
Good deal.